Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, March 26th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And for those of you that trade Bitcoin, there will be a special bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple quick disclaimers here. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, DWAC. And quite the mover today. The big ticker change comes tomorrow. So in my mind, just from more of a fundamental psychological level, is this going to be one of these buy the rumor, sell the news things? Maybe it gaps up on Tuesday and then has a big pullback. Pure speculation, but wouldn't be the first time you see one of these buy the rumor, sell the news type situations. So we'll see what happens from that regard. In terms of areas of support and resistance from the technical analysis standpoint, the main level of support that I think could very well come into play is right there at 47.15. So let me change that to green to represent support. And just through the history of things, you can see that was an area of resistance, area of resistance, area of resistance, and then just a basic rule in charting states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And you can see right there, beautiful example of that, of turning into support. So if there is any sort of pullback, then 47.15 will be that first key level to watch. For more of an overarching standpoint, you're going to want to watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. Keyword there being movement. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So more of an overarching standpoint, as long as the price does stay above that purple line, then that does imply the bulls are overall in control of the current movement. In terms of areas of resistance, nothing fancy or complicated here. Literally just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at 52.80. So 52.80 will be, yeah, right there. 52.80 will be that main battleground to watch moving forward from the resistance standpoint. But all in all, a lot of eyeballs watching this one. And I foresee that definitely being the case on Tuesday with all the news going on. So we'll see what happens with it. Next, NKLA. Very, very nice mover today. Just as a quick little kind of recap, it had really been struggling with that pink line there, which represents the 200-period moving average. You can see right there, rejected as resistance. And then, look at that, just multiple times rejected as resistance. Finally did peek its head above it right there. And then the big breakout finally followed today. So very, very impressive move. Moving forward, the ideal level of support, when you say, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? And that would be if the price can stay up there above that 70-cent mark. But don't get me wrong, if the price falls below 70 cents, that does not mean the entire chart's epically destroyed or anything like that. Because from the overall standpoint, we once again go back to that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So as that line moves itself higher and higher, if you want to just envision that as a trend line that's drawn itself for you. So in other words, as long as the trend line continues on up and the price stays above that trend line, then overall the trend is plenty bullish. So like I said, preferably speaking, won't make the chart look the healthiest, staying above 70 cents, but a more important overarching level. Watch the purple line there, 50-period moving average. In terms of areas of resistance, again, nothing fancy here. We get to just ask ourselves the question, well, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at 76.5 cents. So keep an eye on that. But anyway, look at it. Very nice price movement. And down here, you can see very, very impressive volume. The week is young, so we'll see how things continue to play out. Next, CLSK. Very, very impressive mover today. Had this stubborn area of resistance right here that it had struggled with, but you can see price came up there, opening 30 minutes, broke through it, and then, never really looked back. So on that note, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support, but I'm actually going to adjust this level up more to, once again, that ideal level. What make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward, and that would be if the price could stay above 22.25. But then again, overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line there as the price works its way upwards. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but that's just how the market goes sometimes. You'll have stocks that are all breaking out, and they're putting together these situations where you just watch that purple line, and you just kind of look at where the party stopped. And in this situation, the party stopped today right up there at 24.10, so that'll be the main battleground here. And just like NKLA, very, very nice volume today. So got the volume, got the breakout. You have a nice overall and momentum playing out right now. But again, as long as the price stays above that purple line, then overarching standpoint, the bulls remain in full control. Next one here, MNY, and very nice technical pattern here has taken place. So let's get this pattern mapped out here. So we have the top part of the pattern resistance. We have the bottom part of it right there. Let me change that to green to represent the support, and then maybe make it, not maybe, I am going to make it one color to hopefully make it easier to see. So we have our resistance We have our support. We have this explosive move up like that. For you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's bullish in a pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go upwards, but it's at least a logical thought to have. And there can be some self-fulfilling prophecies where if you have enough people that like bull pennants and they see the bull pennant is breaking out, they buy because, well, I'm a breakout player. This thing's breaking out. I'm supposed to buy. Therefore, I'm going to buy. And, those movements can happen. So are there guarantees? No. But is it plausible? Is it rational to think that if a breakout of the top part of that pattern occurs, that could generate even more momentum? Absolutely. So if you like stocks down below $5, you like bull pennants, definitely keep an eye on this one. Next, CYTO. An interesting situation here. Definitely a very rough day to think that there were some poor souls that were buying up there. Hopefully they had a stop loss in because from there the price pulled back. But what makes this interesting is it is still in a gap up context. It is still above both the 200 period moving average and the 50 period moving average, and it's finally started to go sideways here a little bit. Now let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Because the price has started to go sideways does not mean that for sure guaranteed because it's gone sideways the price is now going to turn itself back around. My point here is it's a lot more plausible in this situation. Case in point, let's just say that the price was still just dropping, and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this might be some sort of bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, based on what? It's literally just dropping straight down. But that's not the case here. It has started to go sideways. So does that mean it's for sure going to turn around? It does not, but it becomes a whole lot more plausible. So if you like these sorts of situations where you get a big gap up and then you get a pretty rough pullback, but then the price starts to show that maybe it's bottoming out, I'd certainly keep an eye on this one. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the page you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, KULR. And again, one of these very nice patterns. And you got to think a lot of people have drawn a trend line like that. And I make the comment about a lot of people doing that because in my mind, that just brings about that much more credibility of a potential self-fulfilling prophecy here. We have the bottom part of the pattern there as support. And then to keep it one color, so resistance, support, big move up. A few golfers, golf hole down here. Have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I would say the biggest difference here is this one just happens to be penny stocks. So if you like penny stocks, you like bull pennant patterns, certainly keep an eye on this one. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from last week, but if you did, hopefully you remember me talking about that pink line there, 200 period moving average as a resistance, and the power of charts. I'll turn that into a quick plug. Go get signed up for that free webinar, and like I said, if you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back and watch the video archive, and you can see the videos last week where I talked about that pink line as resistance, and wouldn't you know it, not once, but twice, price came up there and was rejected right at that pink line. Now, does that mean the price can never break above it? That's not my claim. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is rejecting at that area, and that moving forward, that remains public enemy number one if Tesla is going to get a bigger turnaround. But on the bright side of things, it put in higher highs and higher lows. So you look on Friday, that was the low, that was a high, but now you're looking here, that was the low, that was a high, so each of those are higher than one another. So this thing is starting to trend upwards. It's building a little trend. Yes, there's a whole lot more work that it needs to do, but everything's got to start somewhere, and it is starting. But moving forward, all eyes need to remain on that level because if this trend is going to continue, then it doesn't have a choice. It's going to have to push through that pink line right there. And it's looking like Tuesday is going to be the big day where it's got another battle. Whether or not it can push through, grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens. Next one here, CGC. And this is a little tricky to talk about from a presentation standpoint because it's all about perspective. What do I mean by that? Let me zoom out. Well, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 25 minutes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad because, yeah, today there was certainly a big pullback. With that being said, if you care about the bigger picture point of view, then this is where we're going to circle back to that purple line. I've talked about in past charts, just watch that purple line, just watch that purple line. And here you have an example of that. There have been many pullbacks, but what do you notice about that purple line? There's a pullback, there's a pullback, there's a pullback. Here's another pullback. What are you noticing? All these pullbacks have been occurring above the purple line. Now, just because these pullbacks have stayed above it, both here, here, and here. Does not mean that this one's all of a sudden going to recover like the previous three were. But again, it remains a plausible scenario, and why, assuming you care about the big picture point of view, this is just a healthy pullback. Healthy being defined as staying above and occurring above that 50-period moving average. Now, if the price comes down here and crashes below that level, then that's where the chart starts to take, you got to start to have a different conversation. But as of right now, I would just call this a healthy pullback, because this is not the first time before it's pulled back. It's still above that purple line. Once again, I fully understand if you're a day trader and you bought right there and you ended up sell within 7 minutes, well then, yeah, you really don't care about anything I'm talking about from the big picture point of view. So that's where I'm trying to distinguish. I'm making these comments about the overall chart being perfectly fine from a big picture standpoint. So keep an eye on that purple line moving forward. That's definitely the level that you want to see the price stay above. Next one here, TLRY. I'm going to go through this one very quickly because, and I put these back to back for this reason. I want to, just not waste your time. But this is another one of these marijuana stocks. Same general principle that I just talked about. Day traders that are buying right there, yeah, not a very good looking chart. But if you care about the big picture point of view, then notice what the price is still doing. It's staying above that purple line right there. So yes, there's been pullbacks before, and these pullbacks have occurred above that purple line. So I would, once again, for the same reasoning that I just talked about on CGC, same reasoning here. Overall, I would consider this a healthy pullback as long as the price maintains above that purple line. Next, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, this one will also go up. And because the NASDAQ dropped a bit today, so did this one. Although it did have a nice recovery. I mean, from where it started, the opening 30 minutes having dropped all the way down here, it did get a nice little bounce upwards here. And really what I want to do here is just get rid of that level. Yes, it pertains in this level here. But I think the thing that a lot of people have done, so once again, introducing that talking topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, you got to think that everybody, their brother's uncle, has drawn a trend line very, very similar to that, which is just focusing on those highs right here. And then that was, generally speaking, where it got rejected. And then today, right at that level. So you got to think a bunch of people have watched that level. And while it doesn't guarantee anything, I think it makes it more than plausible to think that if the price comes up to that level and breaks up through, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. So as far as levels that I think most people are watching, going to be all about that level. Let me change up this style here a little bit just to kind of make it a little different. And then from an overarching standpoint, yeah, keep an eye on 63.95. In terms of levels of support, not the greatest at this during the last 30 minutes here. This price is breaking down below the purple line. But from a more of a bigger picture standpoint, ideally, you want to see the price just stay above that pink line there. But yeah, that trend line there becoming very, very interesting. I will get to Bitcoin in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, definitely go get signed up for that free live webinar. It'll be later this week, Thursday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification, we are no longer talking about the 30-minute. I am using right here the 4-hour time frame. Each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours because it is open 24/7, so I want this to be as relevant for as long as possible. And for those of you that watched the video going on Friday, the whole question was, all right, who's going to win the battle? Because the price was getting trapped between these two moving averages, but we got our answer. The price broke above it, and the breakout has ensued. And as I speak right now, the past several hours have basically been straight up. So now it really becomes a question of, all right, it's looking like maybe, just maybe, these highs are going to be coming back into play. Now, I'm going to call this more of a resistance zone from $73,000 up until those all-time highs right up around the 73,800 mark. So basically an $800 resistance zone. So $800 resistance zone. If the price heads up there, I think there's going to be an epic battle there. Does it break? Does it just blast through? Your guess is as good as mine. So I'm not making any claims in that regard, other than the fact that just from a technical standpoint, the breakout has occurred. It's in essentially blue sky breakout territory until it gets up into that zone. And then what happens up there remains to be seen. But of course, there's no guarantees that it goes up there. But it seems more likely than that it'll at least try to head back up there, given the amount of momentum that it has right now. If it does pull back, then the preferable level that you'd want to see it hold above is the purple line. But if it doesn't hold above that, then we just go right back to that pink line, which, as I've talked about in the past videos, has done a fantastic job of holding that support whenever it's been tested. But as of now, both these levels seem a little irrelevant because the price is way up here. But yeah, nice breakout. As the price heads up to this resistance zone, does it get tested? And if so, can it break? Grab your popcorn, grab your Sour Patch Kids, and we'll see what happens. And for you Bitcoin and crypto traders, the same exact invite. What I'll talk about in this class definitely can and should be used within your own crypto and Bitcoin trading. So like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely go get signed up. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you traded today. Give me your watches for tomorrow, and let me know if you enjoy seeing Bitcoin at the end of these videos. So thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.